Do you like wrestling? Do you ever watch wrestling?
No. Nope.
And The Rock said, whoa, 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 because I'm still standing here, custom made, brother. Woo! And I mean custom made, from the alligators to the Ole Cassini right here, Ric Flair. There's only one.
We're not the kind of guys that say, we told you so, but we told you so.
Yeah, no thank you from the Young Bucks.
Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman.
You know who I am.
What's up, gang? Welcome to Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman, the podcast that breaks down the biggest stories in and out of the ring. Thank you for hitting that play button. It is good to be here. My name is Mike Wellman. I am your host. This is episode 69 of Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman, and Billy Gunn is not invited to help us celebrate on this one. But on this episode, we are going to be breaking down AEW Full Gear. What a night it was at the Kia Forum. What a bloody night it was, especially if you're Hangman Page drinking Swerve's blood. So we're going to get to all the action from Full Gear. Who knows what else we'll talk about. A lot to get to, but mostly Full Gear. Ronda Rousey showing up at a Ring of Honor taping the night before Full Gear at the Forum. So yeah, got a lot to get to. Like I said, thank you for hitting that play button. My name is Mike Wellman. This is Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. I am joined by a purveyor of high-quality wrestling opinions. He is the man, the myth, the wrestling fan, Chris, also known as the notorious KRS. What's good, Chris?
What is up, Mike? Happy to be back to almost hearing voices in my head.
Well, you might be hearing voices in your head, and they might tell you to drink the blood of your enemies, and then what would you do?
I mean, I have to do it. They're in my head.
Would you swing a barbed wire bat if the voices in your head told you to do it at your friend's head?
I probably would, but I would not staple stuff to my face.
Would you staple it yourself if the voices in your head told you?
I mean, no. That's where I draw a line.
My goodness, we have so much to get to. Definitely that Hangman Swerve match. I don't know where we're going to put that match in the pantheon here, but it's up there. Yes. We are here to talk about AEW Full Gear, maybe WWE Survivor Series War Games, maybe Ronda Rousey. So, yes, but as always, before we go any farther, that's right, we need you to be kind, like, subscribe, and share the podcast that breaks down the biggest stories in and out of the ring. You already know where you can find this podcast because you already found this podcast, whether it was on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Watch Wrestling Pod on Facebook. Check out our Facebook page. We see you, Facebook followers. Instagram, Watch Wrestling Podcast. And on X, we are at W Wrestling Pod. So check out the podcast on social media. Subscribe to the podcast. Like this episode. Like this video. Hit the like button, big fella. Because we look forward to having zero problems. Isn't that right, wrestling fan Chris?
That is the way to live, yes.
Yes, check us out on social media and subscribe. So we got to get into Full Gear. Full Gear, this was a pretty good show overall, I thought.
I mean, it looks really good on paper, and I think it delivered. And I mean, most of the AEW pay-per-views do deliver like wrestling quality-wise, but sometimes the names don't jump out, but this one definitely did.
Yeah, I mean, this was an interesting show with the angle that they did with the main event. So the pre-show, they've been stacking these pre-shows. I don't know I've ever seen a pre-show where there was a Ring of Honor championship match, then just more matches, a good match, Claudio and Buddy Matthews, and then also a match involving someone on the card already, let alone the world champion who's in the main event. Then they do an angle on the pre-show. This was probably the most packed pre-show AEW's done. The 0 hour that was longer than an hour.
Yeah, but did that Claudio and Buddy Matthews match come out of nowhere? I was like, whoa, that's gonna be awesome.
I mean, that was one of the better matches of the night, really.
Yeah.
So let's get to the big angle on the pre-show. MJF has to defend the Ring of Honor tag team titles by himself now because his tag team partner, Adam Cole, Bebe, has had to have double ankle surgery, Bebe. So he was needing a partner, said he would go it alone. Samoa Joe offered up his services. A lot of stipulations in this one, so I'm pretty sure the way it went was if Samoa Joe teams with Max, then he gets an AEW championship match. But I don't know, he wouldn't become the Ring of Honor tag team champion when they won, because they did win, spoiler.
Yes, okay, yeah.
So he was just filling in for one night only, MJF and Samoa Joe as a tag team. This was a great match. I'm starting to come around on the guns, and Samoa Joe was incredible in this match. I don't know why I thought Samoa Joe was so incredible in this match. Maybe it was the tope suicida onto the outside. I don't know, but I just thought this was like old school Samoa Joe stuff.
That's exactly what I was going to say when you said you don't know why you thought Joe was so good. It was definitely felt like it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. And so Samoa Joe assists MJF in retaining the the Ring of Honor tag team titles. So then Samoa Joe leaves. The Guns return to attack MJF in the final minutes of the pre-show, and they really take him out. They Pillmanized his knee there, and MJF went out on a stretcher, Wardlow style. No, it wasn't that bad of a stretcher job. But no, right in the last minutes of the pre-show, they have MJF going out on a stretcher, like in the last seconds of the pre-show. This was high drama here. In the last minute of the pre-show, they've got MJF getting loaded into the back of an ambulance. Adam Cole's outside the ambulance, and MJF is screaming, "Adam, don't let them take my title." I mean, so this is where things kind of got a little rocky, I would say, for me, because I'm fine with that. Really anything you want to do in the final minute of the pre-show. It's like, go ahead. If you want to do some crazy angle, as long as it, ends up being good, fine. It's like ending Avengers Infinity War, where, spoiler, all the Avengers die. It's like, fine, do that. Because I know you're going to do something else, so that's fine. Tell the story. If we're in the middle of the story, that's fine. So that part was fine. Then we get into the pay-per-view, and should we just get to the championship match setup now, kind of go out of order?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to do that for this angle.
So, after 2 matches on the pay-per-view, we get Tony Schiavone out on the entrance ramp. He brings out Jay White, who's still got the Triple B, and basically Tony Schiavone is starting to say, make the official announcement that because MJF was injured, that they're just going to give the championship to Jay White, a precedent that would never happen based on anything in the past of really any company.
Especially this one, interim champions, remember that?
Yeah, so, the match was set for tonight. There was literally already a match on the card where a champion was defending their title, but they got injured and had to be replaced. That was Samoa Joe replacing Adam Cole in the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. So earlier in the night, you had a different precedent set about what happens when a champion is injured. And then, but no, what we're going to do is we're going to give the championship to Jay White. We're going to hand it to him because that's awesome to do.
And I mean, speaking of precedents and them being set and not being followed, spoiler for later, when Max comes back and they try to stop him from wrestling, but Adam Cole can hobble around with 2 broken ankles or whatever he has and wrestle. So that's a little weird, but it's okay. It's fun.
Yeah, that was really the big plot hole here, is that MJF can't wrestle because of an injury, but Adam Cole would not be cleared in a million years by a doctor with the injury that he had. That's a real injury. And the fact that he literally couldn't even pretend to be less than only a few weeks removed from serious surgery, you know?
And like, here's another thing that I don't want to go too deep into the championship match yet, but I would assume if Cole did take MJF's spot and did win, he would be like the champion, right? Or I don't know, or is he just going to keep it for MJF, I guess, right? Because I'm saying if Samoa Joe isn't the ROH tag champion, he's just filling in, then Cole wouldn't even win the title if he won, right? He's just keeping it for MJF.
Well, we don't have to get into what Adam Cole have done, because although they did advertise that match officially, we didn't get it.
You're right.
So that's where it gets dicey as well, because you, as a trained wrestling fan, I guess you're supposed to know that something is going to happen. You're supposed to expect, especially with the AEW product, I suppose, that you're going to get a main event. You're not going to get screwed, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to pull a fast one. Even if MJF like quit day of show in real life or something like that, they would give you something. So you have to know that by them not doing that, that something is going to happen. Like, you know, they don't announce in the beginning of the show, oh, Samoa Joe is just going to fill in for MJF tonight. Like, he's just going to get his shot tonight against Jay White, and then we're going to have a new champion. Like, they didn't give you any type of, well, we've got a lot of talented wrestlers here that could fill in the main event. Malachi Black's here. He can fill in. Yeah. You know, there was no, like, alternative plan. It's just the injured guy, right? So that's how you know something is kind of up here. Like, we're probably most likely going to get MJF. But when they officially cancel the main event as the show is starting, that was the baffling move first, let alone the reasoning behind, like what you said, the plot hole about how Adam Cole's clearly injured, but MJF is the one who's too injured to wrestle.
Yeah.
You know, that is just a unworked plot hole.
Well, speaking of works, right? I think, speaking of the angle, I think it'll be okay, though, when this comes around and Adam Cole is actually being sinister about all this stuff and trying to, like, quote unquote, steal the title. I think this is all part of his plan, and he was hoping to take over for MJF to win the title and do all that kind of stuff. And maybe he can even explain away how he, like, paid off them to try and stop MJF from doing the match. So I think that's where we're going. And if that's where it goes and Adam Cole's a mastermind, I think all these little plot holes kind of just, like, disappear. No one really cares.
Yeah. But that was just the major plot hole of the night, was Adam Cole. Why is he allowed to fight tonight? But let alone the fact that they would just, it was, who told Tony Schiavone to do that? Who told you could declare a new world champion, Tony Schiavone?
Good point. Yeah. Well, Tony Khan should be out there.
Well, and then Adam Cole says, I just talked to Tony Khan. It was just convoluted.
Yeah.
But that was what they were going with, was that Adam Cole was going to fill in for MJF against Jay White in the main event, and they even had a graphic for it. The main event became Adam Cole versus Jay White. So now as you're watching this pay-per-view, obviously, like I said, as a trained wrestling fan, you know they're going to do some type of a big angle at the end of the show. But, I mean, if you're calling your friends to say the new main event is a guy on crutches, you know?
That's why we were talking during the weekend, and I think if I was calling my friends, I would say, hey, Adam Cole's injury is fake, and he's about to win the world title and then be an asshole to MJF. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up, because while we don't have to fantasy book Adam Cole after he would have perhaps won in the main event of Full Gear, in that period of time between basically the end of the pre-show and until the main event happened, as a viewer, you are left to speculate and ponder on, well, what is going to happen? Because now I'm starting to think, was Adam Cole's injury not legit? Like, is he going to take off the knee or the ankle brace or the boot, and all of a sudden he's healed? Like, what's going to happen? Yeah. Because he's doing it. Because I even considered, well, in the beginning of the show, he came out during that pre-show tag team match just as a surprise. I even thought, like, he has a long overgrown beard and his hair is in a really loose bun. So maybe, like, literally he's going to go back, if he's not injured, maybe he's literally going to go back and get, like, clean shaven and, I don't know, fix his hair and come back out, like, with his gear on. But no, he was legit injured. Didn't even come out with his gear on, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, so they did do that on the show. So I was left to wonder, who is somebody else going to wrestle? Is somebody else going to come out? Yep. Does the devil play into this at all? Which we learned did not at all. Another thing from Full Gear, just no devil reveal or really mention on the show. They decided the ambulance angle was enough. Well,
that's where I think it'll come up later, what I was talking about earlier. I think the devil reveal is going to be Adam Cole or associated with Adam Cole. So that's where they'll put the pieces together later on.
Yeah, so let's get to the actual pay-per-view itself. We spent 15 minutes here talking about the final minute of the pre-show.
Yeah.
So the intro here was pretty cool for Full Gear. I liked the video package and the narration. Really kind of tied together all the different stories. I liked it. The narrator reminded me of the If Life Were Fair intro to the SummerSlam 97, Heart and Soul.
Absolutely. Great show. Great narration. I love that guy.
So first match on Full Gear, we had Adam Copeland, Sting, and Darby Allin versus Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and young Nick Wayne. Ric Flair, he comes out. He was there. He's in Sting's corner. Remember, he's along for the ride until Sting's retirement.
Yes.
Do you think when Sting retires, Flair's going to shut down Space Mountain?
That thing is running until it explodes, okay? Until it's inoperable, all right?
Do you think Space Mountain needs a refurbishment?
Yeah, but those parts are old. You can't find them anywhere, so who knows?
Well, Tony Schiavone mentioned that Darby Allin is supposed to get on a red-eye flight tonight because he's going to go and climb Mount Everest. Okay, I'm pretty sure we talked about this.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's still going through with it. It's unfortunate. I don't know. Do people climb Mount Everest? Would he be the first person to like, if he does it and succeeds and everything, would he be the first person to just climb Mount Everest without ever climbing any mountains ever?
I don't know, and I don't know if we could research that, but I would say, yeah, probably.
Darby Allin's climbed mountains in life, but not actual peaks.
Very good. I would like to know if he's going to do a coffin drop when he gets to the top of it, though, to the bottom.
Yeah, to the base camp.
Yeah.
Really just going right to Mount Everest, not even like, I don't know. I'm sure he's done some. I'm sure he's put some thought into it. Or I hope he has.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I thought Nick Wayne looked really good in this match. He did not come off like an 18-year-old in here. He came off like a much more experienced wrestler.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's experience. You could be 18 or you could be like 30. If you haven't had a lot of matches, it might be bad, but I don't know. He does seem like he just has the something about him where he knows how to do it.
A lot of celebrities were in the house at Full Gear because it was in Los Angeles. Actor and I think Dr. Ken Jeong was there booing Christian Cage in the front row.
I love it.
So Sting in the match, Sting with a mild dive over Ric Flair's body onto Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne on the outside. So Sting starting to tone it down a little.
Good for him.
So Ric Flair does get involved a little bit. He has a confrontation with Christian. He chops Christian a few times, and then he gets low blowed a few times. And I put kind of bumps.
That's good, though. Thank you for kind of bumping and not doing anything crazy, Flair.
Yeah, I do not need any activity from Ric Flair. You can just send me video messages.
Yeah, I love Ric Flair. All right. As a wrestler. All right. And I think he might be the greatest of all time. Probably is. But do we need this man around anymore? Come on. I feel so bad. Like he just needs it.
So we almost got Edge and Christian, ENC reunited in the match, going at it. But nope. Christian, when they finally faced off, he abandoned his team and left the match. Ran away.
Smart booking. I like it.
And Christian abandoned his son and his dinosaur son. And then match comes to an end when Cope gets the pin on Luchasaurus. Pretty good opening match. Decent enough action, I thought. So then Darby gets on the mic and demands that everybody give it up for Sting in Sting's last match in California. And I don't know, for a second, I had a moment here. Sting had a moment in the ring to himself. Tony Schiavone had a bit of a moment on commentary, and it kind of set in for me too as well. Like, it really is going to be the end of Sting's career pretty soon, and we're essentially already there, Yeah. And these moments are few and fleeting as we get closer to Sting's retirement.
very important. It's good. It's nice to have someone. I think it's respectable to have someone have a retirement run, so you know what's going to happen soon, and they can get their flowers everywhere they go. So A plus for that too.
Yeah. So respect to Sting. Just in general.
Yeah.
So after this match was on the show when Tony Schiavone brought out Jay White, and then Adam Cole came out and inserted himself in the main event, which again, the advertised main event for this pay-to-view wrestling show became Jay White versus the injured Adam Cole, baby.
Interesting.
And then the next match was the International Championship match, Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. Very physical match here. Orange Cassidy is one of the best in the wrestling business. Well, for one of the best in their business overall, but just at being like the underdog who has to endure such a beating and come back from it, you know?
Yeah, he plays it so well. He really does it, and you really believe that he's getting just absolutely destroyed, but you also kind of believe it when he comes back, you know?
And Moxley just beating the hell out of Orange Cassidy in this match. Just everywhere you look, Moxley's just punching him with these hard shots.
Yes.
And Orange Cassidy been hanging out in the Red Hook section of Brooklyn with Hook because now he's utilizing the red rum, getting that red rum on Moxley, learning from his friend Hook.
Yeah.
So 3, 4, no, 5 orange punches, no, 6 orange punches, and a beach break is what it took for Orange Cassidy to beat Jon Moxley. Good match.
That's how you got to do it, I think. You know, takes a lot for Moxley to be put down, and it takes a lot for Orange Cassidy to come back. So I like it. Another strongly like worked match and booked match.
I mean, I want to see someone have to hit their move on Moxley 10 times to beat him.
Oh, it's coming. Someone will do it.
Like, I want Moxley to be the guy that you have to hit 10 orange punches on.
Hey, we're almost there. 6. It's only a few away.
I know, 6 is a lot.
Yeah.
So, nice little rivalry. Wheeler, Yuta, and Hook forming here.
And that'll be fun when that comes to fruition.
Then we got a nice little video package about the AEW Continental Classic tournament starting up. So AEW is starting a 12-man round-robin tournament, which I'm excited to see what this thing looks like. Continental Classic tournament starting this week on Dynamite. Danielson already announced. Andrade announced. He has the services of CJ Perry, and she got Andrade more money to wrestle in the Continental Classic tournament.
Sure.
Mark Briscoe, also in the tournament. I don't know if he got himself any more money. He may not have.
Yeah, probably not. And he doesn't have CJ Perry.
He may not have gotten the best deal, Mark Briscoe. But he's in the tournament. And this is where Mark Briscoe announces that he's in the tournament, basically, because we get, spoiler, Eddie Kingston later.
Yeah.
So next up, AEW Women's Championship. Hikaru Shida defending against Timeless Toni Storm. This was good. I like the whole Toni Storm brand.
Me too. It's one of my favorite things going on in wrestling right now.
You know, I wasn't sure about it in the beginning, but you would think that she's been doing this character for years. The way the video packages are, you know, they stuck Luther with her and it's not terrible. She now has an understudy / stalker in Mariah May, and just the whole production of this act is great. In the match, Luther, who I said is now Toni Storm's butler, slipped Toni Storm the steel butt plate, I guess, and Toni Storm's high heel shoe. So the high heel shoe was the distraction. She was overtly trying to use a foreign object in the high heel shoe, and then the steel butt plate was the actual hidden object.
Yes, you're right. I don't care if it was kind of sticking out though. I mean, I saw some people nitpicking that online and stuff. I'm like, let's just have fun. Stop it.
Yeah, it was. It did basically pop out, but I guess I thought, well, how would that not pop out eventually? Right?
Yeah, like whatever. Aubrey was looking at the high heel. Whatever. Calm down, everybody. It was a good match, and let's worry about that.
Yeah. So Sheeta tried to use the kendo stick. Luther stopped her and got caned for his efforts in this one. Storm used the running hip attack in the corner with the metal plate on her butt to take out Sheeta, get the pin, and win the AEW Women's Championship. Timeless Toni Storm is now your women's champion.
I mean, doesn't it just seem like it's going to be great? She has gold to go along with this whole thing. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, and she got her flowers. Mariah May comes out, literally gives her flowers. This is where Nigel was like, somebody come out and give this woman her flowers. And Mariah May is like right there with the flowers. It was great.
Nigel A+, whole night.
And then they were talking about this. They kept talking about the script. Like, Nigel, you must have got a copy of the script. Because, Toni Storm's life is as if it's like a script.
That's good. I know. It's great. I like everything about it. You're right. All the buttons they're pushing and all the plays they're doing are working, and it's really clicking. So, good.
Yep. And then Toni Storm gets mostly carried out of the Kia Forum by her butler, Dr. Luther, who's probably not a doctor anymore.
I doubt it, yeah.
So then this is where we get the backstage promo from Eddie Kingston, who's there with Renee. Kingston says that the big tournament is coming up next, and he's in it, and he's going to put on the Ring of Honor World Championship and the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship on the line in every match. So the winner will be the first, I think Excalibur's called a Triple Crown champion. And it will also, so what you will get at door number 1, if you pick door number 1, is you will get the Ring of Honor World Championship. You will get the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, and you will get the newly created Continental Classic Championship.
It's a lot of titles.
But will you get HBO is the question.
Yes, I would like to watch this pay-per-view on Max, Tony. Come on.
Yes. So we're going to have a Triple Crown champion. So it's just weird when you link up all these belts together. It's hard to unlink them,
Yeah.
But, yep, Ring of Honor Championship, which was defended by Eddie Kingston in the pre-show, in the opening match of AEW Full Gear of the night against Jay Lethal, will now be on the line in every match. So Eddie Kingston could lose the championships, but because it's a round robin, he could stay in the tournament and win them back.
That's interesting. I like that. That's different.
I mean, that would be kind of complicated to achieve rather than just have now, because now it seems like I'm going to guess Eddie Kingston's going to go to the finals. He's just going to keep defending, get to the finals.
You would think so, yeah.
But, in MMA, they do that sometimes where championships on the line in like a featherweight tournament in Bellator or something.
Yeah, and round robins are always fun in the G1, so round robins are cool.
So we got 4 names now. Tony Khan, they're making this out to be the most prestigious tournament in wrestling.
I think when you're having a tournament and you want to make it seem big, you got to get outsiders, quote unquote outsiders.
Yes, you have to get the outsiders.
Hey,
how much for this tournament?
Give me the strap.
So we'll see if the Continental Classic becomes the most prestigious tournament in wrestling. It's gonna be hard to be more prestigious than the 1993 King of the Ring tournament.
I know nothing compares to that, but we'll see. So
next up, we got the AEW Tag Team Championship ladder match: the Kings of the Black Throne versus La Facción Ingobernable versus FTR versus Ricky Starks and Big Bill. So I really like this match. Everything in this match looked like it hurt. It was pretty much nonstop hard or high spots the whole match.
Once it was going to be a ladder match, it was like, this is going to be tough.
I did like the concept that Ricky Starks came up with, that Big Bill is 7 feet tall, so he wouldn't have to climb very high to get the belts, so they make it a ladder match.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. Very good wrinkle to that. I like that.
I mean, I knew this thing was going off the rails when Dax suplexed Ricky Starks off the top rope onto the outside, onto everybody.
Pretty insane, yeah.
Brody King and Big Bill facing off. These two were going to battle over who is the bull of the woods, like this was a bunkhouse stampede.
Yeah, very nice.
Big Bill, bigger than Brody King, taller than Brody King. Brody King might be the biggest dude I've ever seen climb a ladder. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody as big as Brody King on a ladder.
Yeah, I don't think King Mabel had to do that.
No. I don't remember Andre the Giant getting up on a ladder.
No.
Obviously, he was much bigger, but at one point, Dax is just throwing ladders at people. Then he's got his head in a ladder, and he's got the ladder, and he's like hitting people with the ladder, and then just gets his head drop kicked inside a ladder space by Dralistico, which is the way he like fell out of the ladder just looked so brutal.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Dralistico had some good moments in this match. Cash Wheeler and Roosh had some good exchanges throughout this one. We had Cash Wheeler pile driving Malachi Black onto a ladder. Brody King tope suicidas right onto a ladder being held by Big Bill. This looked like it destroyed Brody King hitting this ladder.
Absolutely. I felt pain.
My notes here just say men are slapping each other while another man sets up a ladder.
That's like the concept art for the match before it starts.
It's just two guys slapping. One guy's just like setting up a ladder like he's fucking getting the job site ready in the morning. It's just like boop, 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 boop. Checking sturdiness. This was huge. Brody King hits a gonzo bomb on a ladder that was set up, bridging the apron and the announce table.
Ugh.
Gonzo bomb on Dralistico. Insane.
Painful, yes.
So somehow, like I just said, Brody King did a gonzo bomb onto a ladder. Somehow, moments later, Brody King is now laying flush on that ladder, flat on the ladder, and then the same ladder that he himself just came careening down onto. That was like, it was like bent. It wasn't quite broken, but he was able to somehow remain like he like got back on the ladder. And then Cash Wheeler just goes up to the top rope and does a giant plancha onto Brody King. Cash Wheeler is Darby Allin, I guess, now.
Yes.
So Ricky Starks kind of avoided the chaos in this one. A lot of times when people were getting slammed, it's just like, where's Ricky Starks in all this? And he would kind of just pop up. But yeah, so Ricky Starks and Big Bill win the match. After all the carnage, it's Ricky Starks and Cash Wheeler on the ladder. And Ricky Starks swings the tag title belts into Cash's face, knocks him off the ladder. He grabs the belt, throws it down to Big Bill. They retain the titles.
Very good. I like throwing the belts at the guy to knock him off the ladder. Nice touch.
Super physical, intense battle, as Taz called it.
Thanks, Taz.
Not for nothing. Next up, we had the TBS Championship. Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue versus Julia Hart. This was a good match, and I don't want to take anything away from this match, but I will say the majority of the storytelling for this match did involve people's face paint and the evolution of that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So Sky Blue's metamorphosis is apparently complete, as Excalibur let us know. She had been misted. She had, I believe, originally the black, symbiotic virus that comes along with being misted by someone from the House of Black. That turned into sort of a blue symbiote on her face. And then, I don't know if she learned to live with that symbiote, but now she's transformed completely, and she's wearing a blue crown. So,
all right.
There you go. Sky Blue in control of her misting powers and wearing a crown. As opposed to Julia Hart, who can mist you, but I don't know, doesn't want to right now.
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place, all right?
So this was actually a good match. Statlander at one point body slams both women very easily. Just didn't look like she even tried.
That's nice. Good spot.
So naturally, the two misting powered women team up on Chris Statlander, who is no longer an alien, but she is still more than a woman. So to be clear. So that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So Statlander suplexes both other women on the outside. They super kick back in the ring. They super kick Statlander out of the ring. Then Sky Blue and Julia Hart kind of start brawling in the middle of the ring. Very nice moonsault from Julia Hart onto Sky Blue in this match.
Yes, it's very pretty moonsault. Absolutely.
Statlander power slams Julia Hart on the outside, like a Randy Orton power slam, but on the outside.
Ugh.
Nice exchange between Statlander and Sky Blue, which ends with Sky hitting a nice code blue on Statlander for a near fall. Statlander hits a Saturday Night Fever on Sky Blue, but Julia Hart runs in, shoves her off, and gets the pin to win the TBS championship. I really like this ending. This is how triple threat matches should end, because if you logically thought about how you'd have to win a fight with three people, this is what you do. You just focus on trying to get the pinfall, just like if it was in a video game.
Absolutely, yeah. I like that. That's good thought into it. And then it kind of protects everyone. Like everyone's taking power moves, and like Chris Statlander kind of should have won, but then Julia Hart was in her brain, and Sky Blue took the finishers. So it's good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So new TBS champ, Julia Hart. All right, so next up on the Full Gear pay-per-view, we got Tony Khan's blockbuster contract signing. AEW, folks, has signed the services of a talent that virtually every AEW fan will virtually enjoy. And that talent is none other than Bob Backlund. No. Will Ospreay is All Elite. This is great. Not a big surprise, just big confirmation on the pay-per-view. Ospreay comes out. Decent pop when his music hit. Big pop when he came out, for sure. So, Shivani introduces Ospreay. Will Ospreay, he tries to kind of like set up the crowd where he's like, hey, let me give you the bad news first. And it's like, okay, right there, you got to hype them up first. You get them happy first, then give them the bad news. You don't go right into the bad news where they're still hyped up after your entrance. You know?
Yeah,
Say something good, then hit them with whatever your bad news is. But Will Ospreay comes out, he goes, hey, let me first give you guys the bad news. And everybody was like, whoa, you kind of heard this building like, oh, because you're almost signaling for the crowd to do that. When you say I have to give you bad news,
yep.
They kind of go, oh, they don't know what they're saying. They're just going, oh. And Will Ospreay shut that SHIT down. He goes, and then he just yells, pipe down, bruv. Pipe down, bruv. Now he's yelling at the crowd in his announcement that he signed. It's
amazing.
Like, geez. Signed to a new company, you're already screaming at the fans. No, it was great because he did get them to pipe down, bruv. So, yeah, he says basically let him finish up his current dates, and then he says he'll be here on the road to Revolution. So kind of just vaguely saying that he won't really be in AEW for a few months.
Yep.
You know, not like, Adam Copeland where he's going to debut with the pay-per-view, then he's going to be on Dynamite that week, then he's going to be on Collision that week, then he's going to be on Dynamite the next week. So, if you want to see Will Ospreay in AEW, you need to pipe down, bruv.
That's right.
But yeah, big signing for AEW. Obviously, WWE, AEW, both looking to ascertain the services of one Will Ospreay, and I think he's recognized enough for the talent that he is, where the question is not, is he a big enough draw? It's really the question is wherever he goes, and now we know he's going to AEW, how close to his potential can he and the company he works for get? Because the ceiling is so high.
Yes.
Same thing with a guy like Omega and Bryan and all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Will Ospreay staying on the scene in AEW, which, you can presume that he would still be allowed to wrestle in New Japan, most likely.
I would think so, yeah. That's probably why they allowed him to come out and say he signed with AEW, but not for a few months. Because they're like, it's kind of a working relationship.
Yep. So Ospreay tells the crowd he's all elite, bruv. And then he tells Tony Khan to line up the best that he's got, especially for Wembley Stadium. Basically, Will Ospreay comes in here and says, whoever, line up whoever you think is elite, and I'll show them. Really came off like, if you didn't know how, elite Will Ospreay is, which really, if you watch AEW, you should, because he's wrestled there a few times already. Yep. But if you weren't positive about how basically Will Ospreay, he's got to be one of the top 3 wrestlers in the world, if not the very best wrestler in the world. It's just on any given day, right? And the year he has had in 2023 is wrestler of the year 2023 twice over for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody is getting close to taking that wrestler of the year away from Will Ospreay this year. So then it's just a matter of, is he the absolute best in the world right now? And the answer is possibly. So I think that him coming into that promo and saying, whoever's here, I'm better than them. Kind of, if you don't know who he is, that should open up your eyes to say, well, who does this guy think he is?
Yeah. And he comes off really big time for that. And it's really exciting that he, in a few months, will be like on your TV like 2 to 3 times a week. It's pretty crazy.
Even if it was just the big matches, just knowing that you're going to get Will Ospreay, hopefully against, the very best of AEW, is awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's move on here. I'm going to take a sip of water before this one. I thought about spitting the water, decided against it. But yes, let's get into this Texas death match. Adam Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland. This match was insane. Swerve comes out. Swerve's entrances are top-notch. He had a dance team out here with Prince Nana dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman just runs out during Swerve's entrance and starts beating him up, interrupts the entrance. No, coming out on a horse for this cowboy. Not in the Texas death match. I don't know. Before I could even get my notes squared away, they're already stapling each other with a staple gun.
Oh, God.
In this match.
Yeah.
So Hangman, he's stapling Swerve with a staple gun. He actually stapled some of his own son's finger paintings to Swerve's face in the beginning of this match because, if you've been following the story, Swerve and Prince Nana broke into Hangman's home when presumably Hangman's child was sleeping. And one of the first, devious moves Swerve did was to rip up finger painting that was on the fridge. So, not as devious as Seth Rollins going into Edge's house and leaving the fridge open.
Well, yeah, that's only for, yeah. Oh.
I'm never going to stop talking about that. Just noticing that Seth Rollins left the fridge open when he broke into Edge's house anyway. But yes, so we get finger paintings stapled to faces in this match. It wasn't the end of the stapler. So I don't know what got Swerve busted open. I mean, I do know what gets wrestlers busted open, generally speaking, but I don't know if there was a certain move in this match or a certain staple that got Swerve gushing blood so early. but Hangman Page grabs Swerve by the hair and just drips a bunch of Swerve's blood into his mouth. I didn't even know what was happening at first. He's just in there taking a mouthful of Swerve's blood and just spits it like Gangrel. And the crowd went insane for this.
It's pretty wild. Wrestling's crazy, honestly.
I mean, that makes them a bloodthirsty crowd. Literally.
Yes.
So Swerve, he's covered in blood and staples. He starts stapling himself. He's stapling his own chest for some reason. The next big spot came when we had the usage of a cinder block in this match. So we got a nice Death Valley driver onto a cinder block.
Yikes.
So then this was interesting. Swerve pile drives Hangman head first on top of the front row barricade. Pile drives him.
Pretty insane.
Just blood everywhere. I mean, I don't know. If there was a lot of blood and they were right there in the crowd. So I don't know. Bleeding on the fans. Check my rule book. I don't know if that one's allowed.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
So Hangman wraps Swerve in barbed wire. I mean, geez, was this match sponsored by the latest Saw movie? Is Danny Glover going to come out here?
Oh, man, nice.
Were they going to leave somebody tied to a bathtub here by the end?
Yeah, where's the little bicycle with the little guy coming out? Yeah, right?
I mean, it was so much barbed wire, people being wrapped in barbed wire.
Ugh.
This is my note. Glass, 450 onto glass. Yep, because by the time, you've already done 8 different ways to wrap your opponent in barbed wire. You're wrapping their face in barbed wire, wrap their body in barbed wire. I think at one point, like, Hangman's own face was stuck in a piece of barbed wire that he had to, like, pull off. Like, he was like, putting Swerve in the barbed wire, and then he had, like, a random piece of barbed wire stuck to him. It was one of those matches where the crowd is reacting. Obviously, right in the beginning, you've got Hangman doing the blood drinking spot, and you're just hearing this crowd go, oh, oh, oh. And yet they're still finding ways to get louder and more shocked as the match goes on with louder, oh, oh, oh. I'm pretty sure there was a brief "We want fire" chant. They did not get fire.
I would say there could have been, though. Who knows?
No, I don't think the fire commissioner was going to allow that one.
Touche. It's probably in the rule book, too. No fire.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure these sick FUCKs in the crowd were chanting, "We want fire." Like, what else do you want? What after the fire, then what?
I know.
So, do you want bombs, exploding bombs?
It didn't work out last time, so no.
Yes, we got a dead eye onto the barbed wire board by Hangman. This match by the end was going on and on with spots I thought were going to be just the definitive, like, a dead eye onto the barbed wire board. That's it. Swerve's done. Nope. Brian Cage ended up coming out. Crowd didn't like this one after such a good match to have Brian Cage come out. And he was the solo Sikoa of this one.
Yeah.
He comes out. He powerbombs Hangman. He gets a table. Hangman actually took Brian Cage out. Prince Nana comes up, tries to attack Hangman. Then he tries to dance his way out of it. He gets dead-eyed through a table.
Oh.
Prince Nana, dead-eyed through a table, like off the apron, down through the table. And then this is where the finish really happened outside the ring. As Hangman's getting up, Swerve clobbers him over the back with a cinder block. This was where they were smart because, I mean, I don't think it's ever smart to dump somebody's head on a cinder block. But if they did use a quote-unquote real cinder block in the beginning, even if they didn't, it obviously wasn't one that would crumple. So they did, I believe it was the Death Valley driver onto a cinder block. So that looked like it hurt, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But then now Swerve is basically smashing a cinder block into pieces. So that you obviously could have used a fake, sports entertainment cinder block.
That would have been nice, yes.
You know? Because you're just not going to break a cinder block. By throwing it at someone's back, you're just going to melt them. Like no cinder block is gonna break if you throw it at a person's back.
No, it's not.
So, but that's, so Swerve, he hits him with a cinder block. Hangman still not going down. So basically Swerve has to choke Hangman with a chain. As Excalibur said, he was hoisted by his own petard. Hangman was. So Swerve basically pulls down on the chain. Hangman goes up. He goes out. He hits the ground. Stays down for the 10 count. He almost got up on 10, though. It was one of those where he gets up and, he can't make it up. Swerve wins. Brutal, like a 30-minute match-ish, probably.
Yeah.
Brutal. This was a half hour of power, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It really... They did a good job leading up to this, I think, to make us think that they hate each other. And it really needed to come to this. And then it delivered. So, very good.
People were saying it was the best Texas death match of all time online. There are some good ones. Even recently, wasn't there... Didn't Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks, wasn't their match a Texas death match?
I believe it was, yes.
Hangman has had some good Texas death matches. John Moxley and my man Lance Archer have had some good Texas death matches. This one probably was the most brutal. I mean, there wasn't a lot of wrestling moves in this one, So it was really just people doing brutality to each other.
Hey, that's all right. I'm glad Swerve won. I think the right man came out on top too.
Yeah, he came off looking like a man that would just could do anything to anyone. Like the way you want like a murderous killer to look in a movie. Swerve looked like that by the end of this.
Yes.
Like everyone should be afraid of what he's capable of after that. All right, next up we had the Young Bucks versus the Golden Winnipeggers.
Yes, that's right.
Omega and Jericho. This was a good match. The Golden Jets got the win. Now the Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, they beat the Young Bucks. And now they get the Young Bucks tag team title match that they were the number one contenders for the tag team titles, or had a title shot granted to them. So now that goes to the Golden Jets. So now we're getting Omega and Jericho. They're going to challenge, presumably, Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
Yeah.
But during the match here, they teased a couple times Kenny Omega turning on Jericho, going back with the Young Bucks, like as they were like trying to hold hands and do stuff. And at one point, Kenny Omega's got Matt Jackson on one rope and Jericho's on the other, and he acts like he's about to V-trigger Jericho. So he goes off the rope and he goes running towards Jericho with the V-trigger, but then he just hits the rope instead and goes back and hits Matt Jackson with the V-trigger, or it might have been Nick Jackson. But Omega did get the win, the one-winged angel on Daddy Matt Jackson, and got the win, obviously. And then afterwards, the Young Bucks had a classic Young Bucks temper tantrum ringside. I love these.
I was looking for, I like this kind of way they're going with the Young Bucks too. I was waiting for these guys to come out.
Brandon Cutler on X, on social media, has since said that they're taking time off of wrestling. Obviously, everything they say is a work within a work within a work within a work.
Yep.
But okay, the Young Bucks, I mean, they're the highest paid tag team in the history of wrestling. They're not taking that much time off. They want a month off. Well, that's fine. 2 months off. But when they come back, the Young Bucks need to be riot starting heels. That's what I think.
Yes, I agree. That's what I want to. Yes.
For one, just because AEW needs heels, the quality of the Young Bucks, I think. They need heels that can get people talking about what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which, wrestling fans have been talking about the Young Bucks for 10 years. It's like, you've been saying the Young Bucks are not this and not that for 10 years. You've been talking about them for 10 years. What they're doing works.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think that, those obnoxious, like the passive, don't care Young Bucks, we'll come out, we'll do our match, we'll do our feud with this guy or that guy. We need the Young Bucks who are going to trash monitors. They were like just looking for stuff to rip up. They're like ripping up the padding on the barricade. It was great. Like just the biggest assholes in the world. That's
It's going to be great. If they lean into this, it's going to be great.
For sure. So that's what I hope we get coming out of this. That would be something that is better than all of this elite, who's friends, who's not kind of a thing.
Yep.
So yeah, and then, like I said, we're going to get Omega and Chris Jericho. They're, regardless of who the tag team champions are at the moment, which now it kind of makes sense why you might take the tag team titles off of FTR to put them on Ricky Starks and Big Bill. No offense to Ricky Starks and Big Bill. I actually think they're a really good team together.
Yeah, absolutely.
To then perhaps Omega and Jericho win the tag team titles. You maybe don't want FTR to lose the belts to Omega and Jericho. So maybe you have, Ricky Starks, Big Bill come in, serve that purpose. Then Omega and Jericho, now I'm thinking that they might win the tag team titles.
I think so as well. And I think that's as good as Ricky Starks and Big Bill have been. I think it'd be pretty fun to have Omega and Jericho as the tag champions. For
sure. Because then, in that same vein where maybe Ricky Starks and Big Bill were put in that spot to do that, eventually there would obviously be some type of big feud with another team for the Golden Jets. Maybe it would be the returning Young Bucks, maybe FTR, but you would think that a team as big as Omega and Jericho, you would think that they would have another team lined up to have a big feud with if they were to win the championship.
I would say so, yeah.
So we might see something like that in the future. Yeah, I don't hate Omega and Jericho teaming together. I'm fine with it.
Absolutely. I think it's better than, Jericho's been doing great work, but the Jericho Appreciation Society was getting kind of ran its course. So it's good that Jericho's kind of moved on and is doing this now.
Yep. So then we got the main event of the evening. The AEW World Championship, Jay White challenging the injured Adam Cole. So Jay White comes out, Adam Cole comes out, and again, like I was talking about the hair earlier, I really thought they were going to pull a fast one and have Adam Cole come out clean shaven after earlier in the night he looked disheveled. Like I'm telling you, I'm glad he didn't just shave at his house, because just look at how much I'm about to talk about Adam Cole's potential shaving or not shaving. Okay, watch this.
Yeah.
The guy has surgery. It's obvious after surgery you're going to be overgrown for a few weeks because you can't even move for half of it, right? Whatever the time is. And getting a haircut is not on your priority list. So that part made it look real. But then I said to myself, well, even if Adam Cole is just coming out here, just came to California to be moral support for MJF, well, guess what? You're still leaving your house. So you could have shaved just for going to the show. You don't have to come to the show looking overgrown and disheveled. But he did. To come off as even more injured and even more real, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I am this injured. I am recovering to the point where I couldn't even shave. But then you just agreed to defend the AEW World Championship.
That's right.
Right? So, yes, when Adam Cole comes out, doesn't even come out in his gear. No jacket, no gear, no boots. He's like wearing the shorts and the crutches. And yeah, no, he definitely was walking like someone who should not have been on television. Like just that ankle looked like it was still very much should have been, with on top of a pillow somewhere recovering, But he made it out there. The match is about to start, and then we get MJ. We get the ambulance noise. MJF, he's back. He's driving the ambulance like you do. And yeah, I'm pretty sure what they did, I don't know if he actually drove the ambulance in there. There was a weird cut, or maybe it just was my TV, but it looked like there was a weird cut where somebody's driving the ambulance and then it just kind of cut to MJF driving the ambulance.
It probably was, yeah.
So MJF, he comes out, he comes back, he limps down to the ring, and, we just get a nice 30-minute wrestling match between MJF and Jay White after all of that.
Yeah, he really looks hurt, right?
I guess he did get hurt in the match. He hurt his hip.
Oh, I did see that too. Yeah.
He hurt his hip and maybe something else. But yeah, very good match between MJF and Jay White. Did not need this other stuff, in my opinion. Even a pre-show beatdown, you just beat down the champion before the pre-show, leaving him laying or whatever. But we didn't need to change the main event officially on something that the best you can hope for is that you're causing confusion. You know?
Yeah.
With people still having faith that you'll deliver for them in the end, which AEW did ultimately with this match, but it just does leave you asking kind of why. Why did you go through all this extra effort when there was nothing kind of extra in the end? There was no Adam Cole shocker turn. There was no devil reveal. It was just, oh, we took him out in an ambulance and then he came back at the last minute. You know, limped down to the ring and had the match.
Yeah, it is a strange way of going about it. I wonder if it's very convoluted, whether it's leading to something or not.
Because theoretically, even if he had the match, he should still be injured. So he's now the AEW champion, and while he just came out of this match victorious, you would think that he's now the AEW champion who's both injured in storyline and now seemingly injured in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, whenever those storylines happen, though, whenever there is like a quick, it always makes you think it was sort of a quick booking, like, well, this guy quit earlier today, kind of a thing. Like, he came into the office and legit told us, this is what we're doing, or I'm not going out, you know, like, or there was, or he revealed an injury, or he just learned he's got an injury, or he just, like, you would think, like, or they just got arrested and, you know, they got to go turn themselves in, so we got to shoot something. Like, there's some, like, shotgunning of do something for a very acute reason. There's usually why you would do something like that, but in this case, it just looks like that was a story that they wanted to tell. Just MJF was going to come back from the hospital to beat Jay White.
Yeah, all right.
Unless the story is that as the champion, he's so beaten down and injured now, and that's kind of how his reign would end. And he just almost like the Orange Cassidy title reign, where he's just defending this title 25 times, you know?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, that didn't happen either.
Maybe now he's going to be like the beaten down champion who just couldn't overcome the next thing. And you didn't get MJF at his best when you beat him. You got, you know, an overworked, trying to, you know, do double duty here with defending 2 championships on a show. It was just too much for him.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to lead to him losing the title without making him lose any credibility or anything. So maybe.
Yeah. Who knows? But that's what we got. We got MJF retaining the AEW championship in the match because Adam Cole was out there for the match. And these two best buds, all of a sudden, the Diamond Ring is a babyface now.
Yeah, right.
This Diamond Ring for years. Oh, every time we see this Diamond Ring, the good guy's getting punched by it. And now, Adam Cole, what does he give Max in the end of the match? That Dynamite Diamond Ring. And now we're cheering for the ring. Oh, yes! The weapon of choice. The Dynamite Diamond Ring. This thing has cost so many men a fair victory in AEW's short existence, this Dynamite Diamond Ring. And now it is the babyface savior weapon.
It just goes to show any turn can happen in wrestling.
Yeah, so Adam Cole, you know, he gives Max the Dynamite ring. Well, actually, Jay White, I think, first took the ring. Or did he take something else? I can't remember what he took. He might have taken something else. And then Max had the ring. But anyways, MJF just clobbers Jay White with the ring and gets the pin. And then he's got to get helped out. I'm pretty sure what happened was as he was walking up the ramp, I'm pretty sure he asked just that security guy, like, hey, help me walk. And I remember looking at him like, why? What part of the story is that?
Yeah.
And it might have just been like, no, I need help walking. Like, I'm screwed here. So we'll see what happens next with MJF if he's out for a long period of time. Obviously, you want him not to be working hurt. You know, I wouldn't. Anybody that has a broken hip or dislocated hip, they can have the week off, in my opinion.
I think, he might have to. She should, right? I think I saw that there's reports that he's going to like still be on TV and still like be a part of the show, but maybe not wrestle for a while.
A pro's pro.
Yes, that's MJF.
I mean, they also have the pay-per-view on Long Island coming up, World's End.
Oh, he's going to try and make that, yeah.
I mean, I would, literally put him on ice until then. But, he's got towns to make. Speaking of people making the towns, did you see this, Chris? You know who made the town in L.A. at the Ring of Honor taping that accompanied this AEW series of shows? Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. Do you remember that, Chris? Do you remember when people used to chant for Ronda Rousey? Because she was cool.
Long time ago.
Remember that WrestleMania 31? The Rock facing off with Triple H and Stephanie. And he's like, what are you going to do, Rock? You going to hit me? And then The Rock's like, no, but I know somebody who will. And like 40, 50,000 people are just screaming for Ronda Rousey. And then she gets in the ring and basically just kind of puts Stephanie in like a weird arm bar at that point.
Yeah, I remember that.
Fast forward, main event of WrestleMania 35, Ronda Rousey. Fast forward, tag team champions with Shayna Baszler. Fast forward, Ring of Honor tapings. Ronda Rousey.
The natural progression of wrestling.
Definitely not. But not in like a bad way. And
no.
When you think about like with every step of the way, it's kind of like, why not? Like, oh, she's at a PW or not a PWG show. What was she at? Wrestling Revolver or something? No, what was it?
It was, yeah, Wrestling Revolver, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's the one she was at?
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I mean, each time you see Ronda, it's like, well, why not? It's her friend. Why? When she's in the WWE, why can't she be tag team champions with Shayna Baszler? They're friends. So, doing a lot of stuff here out of order, I would say Ronda Rousey is, but it doesn't not make sense. But yeah, we saw Ronda Rousey come out at the Ring of Honor tapings at the Forum in LA to help out Marina Shafir, right? So now she's helping out all of her 4 horsewomen on the indie scene. I don't know what Jessamine Duke is up to these days, but if she needs a partner, Ronda is available. But we saw Ronda debut in Ring of Honor. So Tony Khan mentioned she's not under contract. She's not #all elite. But might we see Ronda Rousey in AEW? What do you think?
I think we'll eventually see her there. Will she have a AEW run? Maybe not, but some appearances, some one-off matches, or some stories. I think so. Why not?
Sure. And you know what I thought when Ronda did first appear on the indies? Because like I said, it kind of made sense. Her leaving WWE made sense because she was kind of getting booed, and not in a way because she was able to get like really good heat, right? She wasn't getting booed for her masterful heel work, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't like Randy Orton punting Stephanie McMahon getting booed kind of thing, right? So she was getting booed in the same way Cody was getting booed in AEW, in the same way people get booed sometimes. So it's like, yeah, and especially if she doesn't like really, really, really want to be there, then it's like, yeah, okay, your time can come to an end. You can go on to the next phase of your life, especially with someone who has been able to do so much, going into MMA, then to wrestling, whatever you want to do next. If you want to just go have a farm, have a child, go back to MMA, whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So, but she's apparently wanted to stay in wrestling because she does the indie shows. And you know what I thought, like I said, when she first started popping up on the indies, I thought, what would be interesting is if Ronda Rousey could kind of reinvent her perception via being like a tryhard on the indies, like go to the indies and just people will pop for Ronda Rousey on an indie show. Are you kidding me? I mean, because, we could have benefited from a bunch of viral Ronda indie videos, right? Like this week she's here, this week she's there. Who knows? Or she's just at the same indie again and again, right? That would really, make people show up.
That'd be nuts. Absolutely.
So
maybe ROH could be that indie, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, so then you'd have to have an Honor Club subscription to check that out. Because nobody thought, this is what I mean when I say her exit from WWE was logical. Nobody thought she would then go to AEW. People just thought she would, like I said, go on to the next thing in her life.
Yeah.
No one said like, is she AEW bound? Like, no. Of course not. But now it's pretty logical that I think we could see, Ronda Rousey making a few AEW appearances. And WWE I don't really think they did anything to stop that from happening. Or to try.
I don't think so either.
As far as like trying to lock your talent down so they can't just go on the other show. But yeah, who knows? Ronda Rousey might be making an appearance on Dynamite or Collision in the future. I'm sure Tony Khan would want to have her. That's part of this as well. She's not just someone where, okay, I'm a former UFC fighter or even a former WWE wrestler and my friend wrestles, so I'm going to do a run-in with them. It's like, no, she's still one of the biggest names, right, in the fight game.
I think so, yeah.
Obviously, her popularity level is not what it once was when she was armbarring people in 16 seconds.
But still.
Or, like I said, in the main event of WrestleMania. When she debuted after that first Women's Royal Rumble match, I feel like that was big. All she had to do was come out.
I remember. It was huge, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see if we see the Rowdy Piper gear show up on Dynamite. No, she hasn't worn that Roddy Piper gear in a while.
You gotta wear that on Dynamite, though. That's exactly what they want.
So I just wanted to talk about Ronda as far as people showing up in AEW, or not really in AEW, in Ring of Honor. So it could be a one-off, could have just been like, that time CM Punk just put on a mask and did a run-in on local indie show, or could be the beginning of something elite.
Yes.
So that about does it for this episode of Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. Thank you for sticking with us to the end of the podcast. We appreciate you here. Wrestling fan Chris appreciates you. I appreciate you. We appreciate wrestling. And since Thanksgiving is coming up this week, we hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. And even if you don't, we just wanted to say thank you. Thank you, as always, for listening to the podcast, but thank you for just allowing us to talk about this silly sport of people drinking each other's blood, stapling each other, wearing face paint to tell a story, and doing backflips onto other people. So we appreciate being able to deliver this podcast every week or so when we feel like it. And we appreciate all of our fans. We are thankful for all of our listeners and especially the Facebook followers. We see you. Other social media platforms, you need to be like our Facebook people and hit the like button and be kind, subscribe, watch wrestling with Mike Wellman. What does this button do? Mom! Meatloaf! Actually, cancel that. Cancel that, Meatloaf.
What's a baby face?
Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman.
Somebody hit somebody!
Won't open. Won't open. Not this one. Not this one. None of them open.